We see a ship, three-masted, dark-hulled, and heading into a storm. Hundreds of miles away, in a locked room, with rain lashing the windows, we see a young woman covered in chalk and silent tears. What she sees, though, is the deck of the ship. Voices muted around her, wind muffled before it reaches her skin, but her vision, at least, is clear. She remains unseen as all eyes and shouts are directed towards the roiling water, commands and directions, too little, too late, all lost in the howling wind. We see, as she does, the small whaleboats hit the water, almost instantly tossed on a too-high wave before settling. Like their crew, they bear the scars of previous storms, previous hunts, and most will return to the ship intact. We see, as she does, the great Leviathan moving through the ice-black water. Any other whale should be lost in the darkness, but the pale shape practically glows in the lightning flashes. How unlikely, she thinks, that in all the vast ocean, this ship should find this whale at this moment. Her moment. Her brother's note suggests she's on the forecastle, but with a thought, she's now at the railing. She sees the boats sight their target, and she has found hers. Her heart swelling like the sea, a scream ripped from her lungs. On the ship, in her room, she couldn't say. She flings her arms to the storm, and she becomes the storm. She is both watcher and wave as the sea rises up to take her brother. There is no suffering. She's not even sure there's time for surprise. As soon as he crashes into the water, he is simply gone, his spirit removed to a safer place for a greater purpose. She thinks there is no suffering. His body sinks from view, and through the storm, through the ritualistic fog around her, she almost hears someone screaming. But as she looks up, all she sees is the whale. Its head has broken the surface, and she expects in her bones to be seen and known by this massive beast, to be judged by this god of the deep. But it is, like her, just trying to survive and does not acknowledge her, only disappears back into the water. A great fluke rips through the angry sea a moment later, and all trace of it, and her brother, is gone. She, now fully back in her room and sobbing over a small blue rock, is unaware his body still exists and may yet nourish some abyssal creature. What she has is a sacrifice which will nourish her broken land and bring peace to a broken country. And all it cost her was a broken heart. All that's left is finding where to make the sacrifice.
Welcome one more time to Nerdsmith Presents Hawthorne Manor, a Trophy Dark game. I am your beloved game master, Lord Hawthorne. I'm kidding. I'm actually Cassiopeia. It's fine. But before I toss it to my players, let's do some quick housekeeping. Our sponsors tonight are Die Hard Dice, home to the friendliest shopkeepers in the realm, carrying quality dice and accessories. Use code NERDSMITH for 10% off your next order, and be sure to let them know that we sent you. Hero Forge. Hero Forge is an online character design application that lets users create and buy customized tabletop miniatures and statuettes. Releasing exciting new features every Tuesday for their pro subscribers. Use the link in chat to get your pro subscription and help support the network today. You know, it occurs to me now on the last episode that I should have had my little custom Hawthorne mini from Hero Forge every time we do this, but it's way over there somewhere. World Anvil. World Anvil is a set of world-building tools that helps you create, organize, and store your world setting. If you'd like to check out all that you can do with a Sage membership, check out the link in the chat. And of course, huge shout out to our artist Harry at Katrina Raposan on Twitter, who made the bus for this stream. Be sure to follow them. And with that, I'll toss it to my players.
Hi, good evening. I am Eva. Tonight I am playing Laura, terrible sister, friendless, I expect at this point. And both of us use she, her pronouns.
Hello, I am John, aka Raimasa. I am playing Bertholt. Both of us use any pronouns, and one of us is a betray little shit. Take a wild guess as to who that is. Hint it's me.
My name's Tori, and I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Horatio, who uses he, him pronouns, and he's a terrible little man. Or is he? Is he just sad and misunderstood?
And I'm Rosie. I use she, her pronouns. Today I'm playing Desiree Maram, who uses they, she pronouns. And I'm excited to see how much we can break everyone today.
Excellent. All right. Last episode, we found the group of treasure hunters in a bedroom, but not the woman of the house, not the lady of the house's bedroom, but another nice bedroom, maybe for guests. It's hard to say. And both Laura and Horatio saw a figure in the mirror on the vanity of this bedroom. And there was a heated discussion about who this person was and how they could be helped out of the mirror. Eventually, the mirror was broken, and everyone decided the best thing to do was to take a rest, as they could not remember how long they had been in the manor. During this period, Desiree heard their mom calling for her from outside of the room. And struggling to remove the barricade they had set up, she eventually made her way out into the hallway, down the corridor, and found something of their mother's. This also took them out of view of everyone else in the party. And so many things in this house cannot be trusted. Can we even be sure that Desiree came back? During this period of rest, only one person had a pleasant dream, if you can, call it that. And Berthold slept through quite the commotion, both in Desiree pushing aside the armoire with Laura's help, as well as their return. And upon waking, quickly ushered everyone to move on in I don't know. It was kind of a brisk manner, just like, well, let's go. I'm awake, time to go. And as everyone moved on to the next room, adorned with a very intricately carved portrait of a woman with long, curly, flowing hair, obviously the lady of the manor, they stepped inside, except for Berthold. Berthold was stopped, had a conversation with Lord Hawthorne. Lord Hawthorne knew what had transpired both in and out of the manor, and promised Berthold something if he betrayed the party. The rest of the group was in the ladies' room looking at all of the interesting objects and forget all what happened in there, honestly. You did a lot of very good talking. I remember being very enthralled with all of your characters discussing things with each other. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the details at that point. But then, once an opportune moment came, Bertholt cast a ritual and disintegrated the floor beneath everyone and plunged them all into darkness. And that is where we join back. Everyone is alone in the dark, unbeknownst to them, deep, deep in the earth. And we have entered Ring 4. If someone would like to do something, that's all right. Otherwise, I will start picking on people.
Laura, I don't think lands gracefully. So we will spend time putting herself to rights and making sure that her most important items are still with her. Mostly her necklace, her small leather horse she would like to have, but the way the manor is behaving, she's not sure if it's real at all. And she'll feel around. You said it's just dim lighting. We're in the dark. There's nothing
Yes, you
to
are.
be seen, right?
You are in complete darkness. If you search around with your hands,
Yep.
everything feels very rough and earthen.
And she'll pick her way slowly around, feeling with her hands for a break in the wall, and with her feet carefully for any further holes. And I think she's reflecting on betrayals and sacrifices, and possibly might be muttering to herself out loud. It's really hard to tell at this stage in the journey. I don't think she considers what Bertholt did betrayal necessarily. They all knew what they were doing here. They were journey companions at best. And they are all here for their own goals. And for whatever reason, this was just the next step for her. And if that's what needed to be done, Laura would have done the same. So, I'm sure somewhere, if she still has her bag, there's candles or something. She's not going to reach for them. She's just feeling around.
None of your belongings have been taken, though some of them might be scattered around in the dark simply from the fall. But Laura, as you press around in the dark, gathering up your belongings, you can sense that while you are not with your companions, you are not as alone as you first thought. You're not sure how you pick it out off in the distance. It's darker than the darkness, maybe, is the best way you can describe it. It looks vaguely humanoid, but from here it's hard to tell. But something about it is familiar to you.
Stone in hand, she'll draw herself up to a respectable position and ask, "Are you what I'm searching for then?" And she'll hold out the stone.
You don't get a response from the darkness, but your stone pulses with that heartbeat signature that you know. And you feel like it's telling you to go on.
She will hold it close and continue on. Carefully. Still carefully.
It's slow going in this darkness. If you move too quickly, if you even pick your feet up too high, it's so easy to stumble on the rubble of the floor. You keep one hand on the wall to know where you're going because you honestly can't tell where you even were.
All thoughts of her companions are gone. Her sole focus is moving forward, and nothing will be served by her rushing at this point. She is on her intended path, even if it wasn't her expected path, and nothing will be gained by twisting an ankle now. So, it pains her, I'm sure, to be so slow when she feels she's so close. But it's impossible for her to know where she's going, so she will continue into the dark.
She will continue into the dark. Berthold. You must have hit your head in that fall, because you do have to wake up. But you are in complete darkness. You don't know how long it's been. You don't know where you are. You feel like you had a conversation with someone, but you don't really remember anything. As you search about in the darkness, you idly scratch at your neck. You realize you're hungry, but not in a way you recognize.
Time to figure out what that means then. Bertholt will gather his things as much as he can in the dark, and if he misses something, well, he wasn't going to find it anyway. And wanders off to deal with this. He's practical, if nothing else, so if there is hunger, it should be dealt with.
You wander down this dark tunnel, this dark cave system. You don't know how long you're down there. But this hunger grows slowly but steadily. And the further you go, eventually you realize that ever so faintly, you can see in the dark. Not like broad daylight. Not even like candlelight. But just the vague shapes and outlines that perhaps simply comes from being in the dark for as long as you may have been. Sometime later, you come across a ruined altar and a single beam of light pierces through the darkness, and it pierces through you. It is painful to look at.
Bertholt, I think, it's more reflex than anything. It's pain, right? Despite the troubles that they've encountered in this manor, pain hasn't really been one of them for anyone, per se. Physical pain, at least. Emotional pain we've had spades of, but hurt hasn't really been a thing so far. And so I think the reaction is more instinctual than it is thought through or even planned. Bertholt reaches down, grabs a rock, sculpts it out of the stone around it, throws it at whatever this source of light is coming through with the intent of sealing it shut.
You throw this rock at the beam of light, and you do succeed in lodging the object in there and cutting off the light. But in the moment before it's gone, you see that as you threw the rock, you managed to catch the light on your hand, and your hand is singed and smoking slightly. The light down here was weak enough. It doesn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
And you can watch with your new ability to see in the dark as the blemish on your skin slowly heals.
That's one way to make this work, I suppose. It does solve my problem. Approach the altar.
All right. You move to approach the altar. We're gonna go check in on someone else.
Yeah!
Who should go next? Horatio. Horatio, you are in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You have been separated from your traveling companions. You have seen many terrible things in this place. And yet, something in you thinks you're close to your answer.
Excellent. I think he gets up pretty quickly. He's used to getting knocked around. Brushes himself off while letting out a creative litany of swear words. And tries to see if among his things maybe he still has a candle or matches or anything so he can see in the dark.
Why don't you roll me a single d6, Tori, and we'll see if you have a light source left on you.
I will. That's a 5.
Horatio digs through his belongings and manages to find not only the tiniest stub of a candle left, but a single match with which to light it.
Hell yeah. And he lights the match very carefully and lights the candle and sort of shields the flame, because this will probably go out at a very inopportune moment, but not right now.
You light the candle and you shield it with your hand. For a moment, everything becomes slow and muddy feeling, like you're thinking through molasses. And you stare at that candle for minutes. And some part of you knows that this is wasting precious light, precious time. This candle will not last forever. And before you can get moving, you can't help to think about one of those nights on the boat, in the hammock, with a single candle between you and Sebastian.
He heavily sighs and manages to not sigh into the candle.
When you finally pull yourself free from that thought, the candle is noticeably shorter. It's hard to really describe because there's so little candle left. You can't measure it in like, oh, an inch of candle's gone out, but it is definitely shorter than when you lit it.
Well, no point in wasting time. And he's gonna walk down the passageway.
As you walk down the dark passageway, you hear the sound of a ship's bell. Ding ding, ding ding, ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding, and you hear the sound of the waves crashing around. You hear voices, the sound of men crewing a ship.
Horatio knows this is a trick. He knows that this is the house playing tricks on him, but so far the only way forward has been to go along with the tricks, it seems. Go from one horrible trick that this house has to the next. And if he's looking for answers about how to get back his love lost at sea, heading towards boat sounds is probably a good idea. So he's going to quicken his pace and head in the direction of the definitely a trap boat sounds.
All right. You quicken your pace, the candle flickering, casting shadows everywhere, elongating this tunnel, shortening this tunnel. It's hard to gauge your steps. You blink once, you blink again. Suddenly you're 100 feet ahead of where you just were. Suddenly you're standing still. Once again, you're moving. Time is weird, or perhaps you're struggling to comprehend something. And then it passes. And you walk forward.
He would just power right through that. Just going, nope, 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 nope. He would just power right through it. He is not giving that his attention.
The power of a white man's denial is very strong.
100%. He's like, nope, you know what? Absolutely, we are not dealing with this right now. We are heading forward towards the goal. Whatever that is, not relevant to whatever he's after. Sure, make the time weird. I'm gonna find my boyfriend.
With that thought, Horatio, you walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. And you don't realize when you first start stepping into water. It's not deep. It's not even ankle deep. But you think back for a moment. Is it a moment? Or was it longer? But your footsteps have splashed for a while now. And you stop for a second. Take a breath. You know this is a trick. You know that Sebastian is out there somewhere. This house, this place will help you. And in front of you, you see the darkness moves and sways like the ocean.
Well, the sea is the last place I saw him before today. Does he walk into the sea? I don't know. Is my character just going to walk into the sea?
I mean, he is a poet.
He is. He's gonna walk a little bit further. He's not fully just going to turn and walk into the sea yet, but he is going to see what all this is about.
All right. Horatio, you continue on. And as you go, around you, shapes start bobbing in the water. Bobbing up near you, bobbing up far away. Somehow, even in your dim candlelight, you recognize all of these figures. Each and every one was a member of that ship crew. Each and every one is your companions that you came here with. Each and every one is your family, your friends, and Sebastian.
He's gonna start grabbing at the most Sebastian-shaped ones, or whichever one is temporarily the most Sebastian-shaped.
Deserim.
Yes.
Deserim, you are in the dark. You remember falling. You remember a sharp wall behind you as you fell. You remember dirt and rock. But you don't remember landing. And you don't know how long you've been down here.
And I remember Horatio has my teeth. That's the last thing I saw before I fell. So
Yes.
I will sit up and scramble and find my belongings and pray that what I saw was just a trick. And desperately try to find that periapt.
He wasn't happy about having your teeth, just to
No,
be clear.
but he had them.
You remember correctly.
Mm.
The teeth are no longer in your possession.
She's going to feel her heart quicken and her breath become shallow. That was her ticket out. That was the one thing she needed. And who is he to talk about someone that takes? He has taken the most precious thing from her. She has to find him. So she takes her mother's shawl and she wraps it around her. The smallest shred of comfort she can find here. And they pick up the rest of their belongings, the pillow, the piano keys, shove them in the pack angrily, and march forward.
Desiree, how long do you wander in the dark, do you think, before you realize catch the scent of lavender and brimstone?
I think she will walk and walk and walk and walk, enough that her feet are sore. She will stop, or rather pause, just for a moment. When she gets that smell, she knows what that smell means. She knows it is more powerful than her, so she will wait and see if it addresses her first.
You hear the voice of the Lord of the Manor, but not out loud in the darkness. Inside you, inside your mind.
Don't your sort have to be invited in first?
This is my domain. You willingly entered and gave me access.
That was foolish. Of me, not of you.
There's a small chuckle. But I'm here to offer you a bargain, Desiree. I know what you hope to gain through something I might have.
Light's not good enough.
Sorry, what's not good enough?
Might.
Might, okay. I don't offer might. I offer a trade.
What do you have to trade? And what do you want? What could I possibly give you?
I offer the ability to go and make a new contract to free your mother. And all I ask is that you serve me here.
One leash for another. But she'd be free.
Assuming she is still alive, yes, I would
Yes.
help you free her.
She is. I know she is. I saw her. I saw her. If her freedom is an assurance, then you can be my new master. Syria won't like it, though. Are you willing to take that? Are you stronger than him?
Places like this are places where even beings like Assyrio fear to tread.
She'd be free and I'd be safe. What do you want me to do?
No one else can succeed or leave.
Laura can. I owe her a favor, and I don't take. I trade. Let Laura go. Please.
You owe Laura a favor, and I, too, know the power of favors. You cannot trade this favor for that, but you may let her go, and I will deal with her myself.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Please. With the assurance that my mother is alive and will be free. I know how these work.
Free.
I know how the wording works. I know that words are important and they carry power. I am being clear. She is alive and she will be free. She will be alive as she is free.
You have my word.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Desiree, you feel the air around you shift. Something brushes past your neck, and you feel a sharp pain for a moment. And then it passes. Hear the Lord say, "Go now," before fading.
She will take just a moment. The pain, that sort of puncturing pain, is familiar enough to her. She will take a moment to lift up her sleeves and see if the markings made by Assyrio are there still, or if they have vanished with the steel. All the times he's taken.
How many times have Assyrio taken?
Enough that it covered her arms to look like freckles.
The faintest ones, the oldest ones, are already gone. The newer ones take time to fade, but you can see it's happening.
She'll breathe something like a sigh of relief as she traces the last one to fade, the arc of it just lightly with her hand. And she'll try to smile, but she can't. She knows she has doomed herself to another, however long, on another leash for another master, but at least she's accomplished what she set out to do here. She has bought her mother's freedom, and that is all that matters. But there is still work to be done. So now she marches forward with a purpose.
She does march forward with a purpose. Before we change our scene once more, Desirem, you feel as you walk the teeth sharpened by Assyria, the faintest of points, begin to fall out. They're replaced with new teeth, jagged, pointed, rough teeth.
I can live with that. She'll keep going.
Laura. You continue to walk towards this figure in the dark, the stone leading you with that thump thump, thump thump. And when you reach this impossibly large, imposing figure in this grand, open darkness, I want you to describe for us, Laura, what does the Saint of Darawan look like?
She thought it would be like a tree. Darawan always felt like the cold embrace of the forest. But here in the darkness, it's much more like that night on the sea. Like an inky blackness rising up into the darkness of the cave or tunnel or subliminal space wherever she is. She can't seem to focus on any one part of it. It fades out as her eye tries to focus, and then another strand will coalesce and darken off in the corner of her vision. And there's almost a bioluminescence within it, a little flicker of light. Not a lot, barely light, but enough to just give the impression of the impossible size. But it also can't be that big because the space isn't that big. And yet it feels beyond her comprehension, just very much like standing on the deck of that ship and seeing that whale. Both of them so small in the great scope of the ocean. And she doesn't see a feature, she doesn't see eyes or a mouth necessarily, and yet it still has a sentience that she can sense, I guess. And she stops and just says, "It's you. It's finally you." And she hesitates, not because she's probably beyond terrified, honestly, but there's also a vindication of her conviction that she always believed, but she didn't expect to be justified at the same time. She knew she wasn't cut out for a journey. She was not an experienced treasure hunter. Making it to the manor honestly surprised her. And I suppose her hesitation is in being found in any way worthy to have gotten this far in the journey. And she opens her hand and holds out the stone and steps forward.
The saint doesn't speak to you, but that doesn't surprise you. You're not, though you sense the sentience, you're not even sure that it notices, much like that whale. But as you step forward with your palm outstretched with that stone balanced in it, stone stands up on end. And after a moment, starts to hover out of your reach towards this figure. It doesn't take long before you lose sight of the stone. It is such a small object in this large, dark place with this imposing figure in front of you. After a long time, can tell the darkness is once more just you have satisfaction. As you begin to once more make your way, because surely there's a way out somewhere. Feel something pulsing inside your body. You swear for just a moment, feel that something move. Bertholt.
Uh-huh.
You are at the ruins of an altar, I believe I said.
Mm-hmm.
You approach the altar now that the source of pain and light is gone. And you see this altar, though it is somewhat... What's the word I want? There's a crack running through it, and one of the corners has turned to rubble. But you recognize this. There's no way you wouldn't recognize this. It's the bed where you left your partner. The bed where you last saw them, where you assume, if you do not succeed here, that it is their deathbed.
Bertholt takes a step up. runs their hand across the bed. Breathes deep in the dust, in the whatever this cave is, really. Places an ear down on it just to hear if the stone moves.
There is something in the stone, yes, you can hear it when you put your ear to it.
Oh, goody.
You've given me such a gift.
You're welcome. I think Bertholt again reaches for it, sort of places both hands on the stone, and then, much in the same way that he has rock, metal, anything else, pulls it apart, peels the stone back.
You peel the stone back like parting a curtain almost. The rock moves for you. But once you have found this crevice, this oval shape, just big enough to fit a body, you discover it empty. But you hear the sound of breathing, as if someone's resting there, and you feel the faintest bit of warmth, as if a body is laying there.
Bertholt, sort of having pushed the stone away, again leans in to listen, and it is soft breathing, the hint of warmth, which he can now feel more noticeably than he ever has, because he no longer has any of his own. Puts his head whereabouts chest height a person would be were they laying down. And simply says, "I'm coming home." Stands up. Walks away.
Who would have thought that everyone in this game would be sad?
What?
I mean, why else would you become a treasure hunter unless you have something desperate that you need to fix? Leave that brings us back to Horatio.
I'm all up in that water.
Horatio, you are on your
Splish
hands and knees.
splashing.
You are on all fours, practically scrabbling and dragging and clutching at bodies. Every time you pull one to you, you realize it is not Sebastian, even though you were sure it was. You scramble further and further and further into this murky, watery darkness. You stop for just a moment to take a breath. But you realize the water's waist deep. You realize that it's harder to move, not just because the water is deeper, obviously, that slows your movement, but you stop in the middle of that thought. One hand trailing in the water, one hand scratching, your bad hand scratching at your good arm. And a hard flake comes off. You catch it before it hits the water. And you notice patches of these granite-like scales sprouting from your skin.
Fun! He tosses it in the water and just keeps looking for Sebastian. He does not care. This man cannot be stopped.
This boy gonna turn into salt.
It was granite, excuse you. He's gonna turn to stone.
Biblically, functionally the same thing.
He's much more Eurydice than whatever the lady in the Bible's name is.
Think in this metaphor you'd be Orpheus, not Eurydice.
Turning to stone.
Well, yes, but you're the one looking for the lover.
I'm somehow both at the same time.
Yeah. So
Really
sad
bad
on
for me.
both.
He just like literally angrily throws the piece of rock in the water and says no and keeps looking. He is going to fight God on this if he has to.
All right. How do you deal with this kind of audacity?
The funny thing is, the TTRPG game where John fell in love with me, I played a character named Audacity. And he was exactly this kind of man. Only he was stupid. Horatio's not stupid. We aren't sure Audacity could read. Horatio can read.
That's fair.
Okay, no, this is okay. This is fine. Yes.
I can totally stop whenever you want if I'm not yet.
No. This is good. This feels like Horatio. Horatio is so blinded by what he wants that he's ignoring the problem in front of him. That feels very on point.
That feels like Horatio.
Horatio, you continue to move deeper into this water, to continue to grasp at all of these bodies. You're sure the next one is Sebastian. You swear it's Sebastian's clothing.
I think he might even start yelling to, probably vaguely, Hawthorne. Where is he? I know you have him.
You shout into the murky darkness, murky both because of the water and simply because the darkness is oppressive. The darkness is all encompassing. You clench the fist of your good hand in anger as you shout this. Where is he? I know you have him. You can't unclench your fist.
No good arms. No good arms. Great.
You push and you push and you furrow your brow and you manage to uncurl your fingers slightly. But you see that from your fingertips to almost your elbow, this dark granite rock scale covering you. And as you stare at your hand, you hear the Lord of the Manor in your head. Oh, dear boy, I do not have your lover, but I can help you recover him if you serve me.
Would we be together?
If he wishes it. So I feel like this is Tori going, I don't know that Horatio would stop to think about the way that was phrased.
No. He would just be like, fine, absolutely. Whatever it takes. And I also think he's going to start getting out of the water in case it's the water that's making him turn to stone. Just in case. He's thinking that much.
All right. You blithely agree to serve the Lord of the Manor with no discussion and no negotiation. And you have that thought, maybe the water is what's causing this weird issue. And you start to turn around. You turn around. But Horatio, where did you come from? Could you even pick the path out in the light at this point? It is
Whatever
dark.
The shallower water is?
Okay, I mean, this is peak Horatio. This works. You turn in what you believe is the direction you came from, and you march into the water.
And if it gets deeper, I'll turn in a different direction and try that. And if it gets deeper, I'll turn in a different direction. Eventually, he'll go the right way.
I can science my way out of magic.
Water, he understands. He'll figure this one out. I have faith in him. Besides, the vampire was going to have him do something, was going to help him. He has to be able to get out of the water.
So you agree to this contract. Just no negotiation. You turn and start stomping through the water to try and find your way back. And yes, at first, you once again step deeper into the water, and then you turn and step into deeper water. You hear in your head the Lord of the Manor once more. It appears someone else wants you, boy. And that is where we will go to our break tonight.
I hope it's Sebastian. He wants kissies. Anyway,
Oh no.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so glad to see you. We all had a quick break. We got some water and took our meds if we needed it, and hopefully you did too. We had a short discussion right before we came back about some things that should have been ruin rolls, and so everyone will be making those here before we continue on. Who would like to go first?
not me. Oh,
Not
John's
a 6,
going.
I win.
Incredible.
Okay.
Hey, John, what was your ruin roll for the benefit of the audience?
So I have to roll a 6 in order to get my rune, because I'm currently at the maximum allowable before I turn into some weird monster NPC thing. But I did roll a 3. So
I was actually
take
asking what happened that made you have to roll that.
Oh, see previous hour and a half and go watch it if you haven't seen it. Ta-da!
Cool.
Eva, you had your hand up. Would you like to go next then?
I did, sure. Laura is rolling for encountering, despite sort of intending to, one can never quite prepare for a saint of the Darwin, and also for having successfully navigated that interaction, to now discovering there is something moving inside her. That's probably fine. 3 and... Okay, she goes up 1. I'm sorry, I meant to mute when I rolled. That was probably loud.
No. I think we'll go to Horatio next.
Oh, God.
Face.
I'm so scared. Okay, I have to roll 1 for turning to stone and 1 for all those corpses. So let's see. The first one. Hey, it's a 3. We're fine. The second one is a 2. We're also fine. Yeah, boy! We're gonna win Trophy Dark!
If Horatio wins Trophy Dark, that just shows you, how a mediocre white man can rule everything.
Jesus
The
Christ.
power of gay love and a mediocre white man.
Oh. I love it.
Most is
Desiree.
Desiree.
She's rolling for having a vampire in her head for a little bit and making that contract, and for being partially reminded, physically, mentally, spiritually, of her previous contract and seeing that disappear. All right. I'm gonna keep it secret. Enjoy.
Hey, wait a second.
Why are you so ominous all the time?
It's just how she's gotta be, so.
Gotta lean into it.
All right. As much as I would love to jump around once more, actually, no. Yes, we are going to do that. Laura. You continue your trek through this dark void. This sensation you felt coming every so often And you feel your clothes shift in a way that you're unaccustomed to. But in the dark, you can't do much about it, so you do your best to ignore it and push on. At some point, something falls out of your pack. It's your horse. You stop and bend down to retrieve it. And you find that bending over is more difficult than it should be, as if something is in the way. But you manage, and you recover the horse, and you continue on. You eventually find yourself in front of a large, imposingly carved wall with a small, dark, rectangular hole carved deep into it. You can't tell what the carvings are. You can just tell that the rock is not a natural shape. And as you look at it, you see faint wisps of energy start to shift in a few spots on this mosaic, this relief, like small, not blue, but not quite white candlelight. And you notice that they are in sets of 2 every time they appear. And as more appear, you realize that they are eyes in this relief. Faces, figures, skeletons, skulls, people. All different, but all eventually have these tiny, glowing, wispy eye lights. And you have enough light finally to look down at yourself and adjust your outfit. You see that you are 4 or 5 months pregnant.
I drop my bag at this point. If I still even have it with me. And if they're just glowing in the wall, I'm going to rest for a minute and process is not the right word. But some things you can't really compartmentalize, which she has been doing for a while now. And aside from fixing her dress, she is not going to touch her stomach. Both because it would be an acknowledgement that it is real, probably. And if it's not, investigating further isn't going to change anything one way or the other. She is going to prioritize keeping that little toy horse safe, as she no longer has her stone. She has transferred her worries and anxieties into keeping the little horse safe. And you said there's a hole in the wall?
Yes, there's a rectangular hole in the wall, very much like a doorway would be.
After an indeterminate amount of time, because what is time in this hideous place to begin with, never mind in the dark of this labyrinthine tunnel nightmare, she's going to pick herself up and address the eyes and just say, well, all right then, and step into the darkness. It got her this far.
You step into that dark corridor with everything that happened and how long you were in the dark before you reached that wall. It's almost comforting to be in it again. It's easy to forget in the dark. Deserim.
Hi.
Deserim, it doesn't surprise you that as you move through this cavernous system, that eventually you grow thirsty. And absent-mindedly, you pull out your canteen or water flask for whatever remaining hydration might be there, and it does nothing for you. But you're not surprised, really.
If there's any left, she'll save it. Maybe someone else. Maybe she can trade it.
Eventually, Deserim, you too come to this large carved wall, a massive mural of figures, many worn by time and age. But as you watch, twin little lights blink into existence in one location, and then another, and then down over here, and then over there, always in pairs. And you see these figures lit by this sickening green glow, this flame. And they are Horatio, Bertholt, Laura, your mother, this brother that you've heard Laura talk about that you've never seen, who apparently is also the same person Horatio is looking for. Someone you don't recognize. Perhaps it's Bertholt's partner. You see a Sirio on this wall. You see every person you have ever met or shared a kind word with or made a trade with on this wall.
She's going to fixate on the one of her mother and just stare at it, taking in the features. and her expression is confused. The features that are in the relief don't quite match how she remembers. The memories shift and are staticky and fuzzy. In her mind's eye, her mother is undefined. But here, in sharp relief, she can see those details, and she does smile with this new set of jagged teeth. For a moment, she'll look over to Asirio, and if there is a rock on the ground, she will just chuck it with stupid face.
Oh, there are many rocks on the ground.
Oh, if there are many, she will throw one and another again and again until she feels like she has vented her frustration, and it will be a while. But we've established time's a little funny here. She'll again look at her mother, grab that shawl tight, and smile again, and move forward.
You move forward into this dark rectangular hole, very much like a door was meant to be there. And as you pass over the threshold from this area where the green light glows into this new darkness, have a thought for just a moment. Were your mother's teeth always that shape? Press on.
I sure do.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Berthold,
Yeah.
you have done what you were asked. You have been given the reward promised. You are trying to find your way out. But this hunger is a knot in your stomach, a hard, roiling thing demanding something be done. And for the first time in a long time, you catch the sound of something else. You hear scrabbling, you hear a squeak. You sense the body heat of this small rodent as it scurries past your feet. You snatch it up in your hands. It looks delicious. It looks like the best meal your partner has ever made.
There's only one thing to do then. Bertholt bites and drinks deep.
It tastes like the best whiskey you've ever had, the cleanest water you've ever drank. It burns like alcohol, but it also relieves that ache just a little bit. A rat is not very big after all. You eventually come to a large carved wall. Figures adorn this massive display. As you watch, twin lights appear in one spot, and then another, and so on until every 5-foot spot that has what you can assume was a head at some point has these lights, these small glowing red lights. They don't hurt like that light you saw at the altar, but they do provide you with few of these images of people. The Lord of the Manor, the Lady of the Manor, your companions, your partner.
Okay. Bertholt sees the first two. Lord of the Manor, Lady of the Manor. He doesn't see the other 5. Because why would you take so long to stare at a steak?
All right. You notice at the bottom in the center of this massive wall a dark rectangular doorway. Well, dark for some maybe, but you can just faintly make out the edges of the walls as it disappears into the distance. And you hear something down there. You start to go down there, but you're not in a hurry. As much as that hunger drives you, you know that if you hurry, it will alert them. So you take your time. Horatio. The Lord of the Manor said someone else has claim to you.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm hoping it's my boyfriend. I don't think it is.
After that is stated in your mind, the bodies you've been grabbing for sink into the water. Impossibly far, your hand hits ground before it meets anything else. And the water starts to recede slowly. From waist deep to thigh to knee, back down to ankle. You see, off in the distance, a single pair of blue lights wavering in the dark.
Like eyes?
I mean, there's nothing else to tell you if they might be eyes, but I
Well.
understand why you're asking.
He is going to walk towards them. He will gladly see whoever seems to think that they can claim him other than his beloved.
You walk towards these lights, and as you walk, you realize that now what you have started walking on is not just like the ground of a cave. It's not just dirt. It's cobblestone. And as the water recedes more, you finally get a small glimpse of this 6-foot walkway with nothing but darkness on either side of it.
Me and Eva both were just like 6 feet. Okay, all right. And it was a walkway, not a man. Anyway.
Guilty.
Tall, dark, and marchable. Like.
All right, so it's a walkway. Yep, continue.
And you continue on, and you pass those blue lights into another set of a tunnel. You eventually come to a large carved wall, a myriad of images. You can spot a whaling ship, a whale, Sebastian, your companions. And as you watch, when you look at their faces, these two blue lights appear where their eyes should be, wavering like candles in the darkness.
He's gonna touch the face of the picture of Sebastian.
You place your hand on the image of Sebastian, and you rest your forehead against the back of your hand. You realize that the hand you touched against the image is the rocky granite hand, because you're so much more used to not having your other hand than this one. You forgot for a moment. And you wipe this rocky granite against your forehead to wipe the sweat from your brow or to scratch your head. You realize those rocky fingers meet more granite.
Yeah, stony. Terrible. Okay, great.
You see this dark rectangular doorway in this wall, and you know you have no choice but to continue on. The only way out is through. You've been shown once and again there is no turning back in this place. And as you step towards this dark shape in this wall, you feel as the granite scales on your face grow over your eyes.
Great. Cool. Fine. He doesn't panic because he's just like, I guess this might as well happen. And he's gonna keep walking even though he can't see anymore, presumably.
I mean, you've spent so long in the dark. Is this really a big deal at this point?
No. He's still gonna find his boyfriend.
One by one, you all find yourself in a massive underground cathedral carved directly from the cave system. Images embossed on the walls, the roof of the cave carved at a slant as if they had built a building physically in this structure. Benches, chairs, pulpit. Iconography of all make. And you all come out of a passage, the four of you. Two of you on each side. You can all see each other.
Which two?
This is important.
I don't think it matters to me. I can't see.
Okay. For this frame of reference, if you're at the back of the cathedral looking towards the pulpit, the front, it is on the left, Horatio. The next one up on the left, Deserim. On the front right, Berthold. On the back right, Laura. So, in addition to seeing this scene, Berthold and Deserim, the first two people you see are each other. Laura and Horatio. You get a sense of something, but you're not sure what's going on. But Laura, you see Horatio.
Everything's fine. I'm good. It's all good here.
Does Horatio say that?
No. Horatio doesn't know you're there.
Just checking. Well, he might have been saying it to the void, wasn't sure.
Every step Horatio takes is just that meme. This is fine. This is fine. Everything's on fire behind me, but this is fine.
All gonna be fine.
There is enough light in here, Laura, for you to see, but it is not bright.
Is it bright enough to see, well, for 3 out of 4 of us to see each other, or just whoever's next, like nearish to us?
Probably bright enough for 2 out of the 4 of us to see pretty easily at this point.
Well, all right, fair. Okay, fine. Can Laura see like across to like Deserim, or is it just Horatio and maybe Berthold?
It is bright enough, I think, that if you look around, you can see Horatio directly across from you, Berthold up at another entrance, and on your other side, Deserim across the way, yes.
Okay. I don't think she's convinced that this is necessarily real or just a new vision, so she's gonna wait it out for a minute. Also, there's something obviously wrong with Horatio, so
There is something obviously wrong
Thanks.
with Horatio.
Anybody find what they were looking for?
Hello?
yes.
Ah. Well, I hope this has gone better for some of you.
Everyone looks a little different.
Ah,
I'd say the same, but you know,
Oh,
as it were.
does it hurt, Horatio?
Not any more than anything else.
That is fair.
I do believe this trip may have been a mistake.
All depends on if you find what you were looking for, I suppose.
I don't think I will anymore.
Oh. I am, whether you believe it or not, I am sorry.
Anybody else still looking?
not anymore. No.
No. Should we help
You said
her?
there were chairs?
Oh.
Yeah,
I think I'm just gonna sit down.
like a pew or something.
I'm just gonna sit down. Horatio's just decided he's gonna live here until he turns to rock. Like more. And then maybe Sebastian will find him. It's nice to take turns in a relationship.
That was the most tragically wholesome thing I've ever heard. Okay. Jesus. Sounds like we should leave then.
Do you see an exit?
I see 4 doors we all worked through. Is there another door besides the 4 we came through? Asking the important question today, see?
You don't see a door.
Okay.
But you see on the... God, I forget what it's actually called. On the dais, I guess. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
behind the pulpit on the dais, you see Bertholt, because you asked and are looking in this moment. You see 4 stone sarcophagi. And with as much light as in here, you can make out just barely that each one looks like you and your companions.
Someone's going to have to describe this room to me at some point.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes.
Something
Large.
doesn't like us leaving.
Oh, I don't think any of us were meant to leave. That's why I think this was a bad idea.
Gothically atmospheric might be a term. I don't see a helpful doorman with a "please exit here" sign. Very churchy.
Oh, that seems appropriate. And I think
Doesn't
I think Horatio's just going to lean back with as much as he can with his hands and put his hands behind his head.
Desiree, with her aptitude for silence, is going to try to creep closer to Horatio just to inspect
Okay.
what might be happening. Just a little tiptoeing. When she gets about 5 feet away, she's going to just like... The other 2 would see her tilt their head back and forth, trying to like discern the nature of what's going on with this terrible little man.
This terrible little man appears to be covered in some kind of scaly protrusion that looks and feels like pieces of granite.
If she stares long enough, can they see progress? More of Horatio's body being taken quickly?
I think for Deserim, with their Thayborn heritage and their new station in life, question mark, for you it's noticeable, but it definitely, it's not overwhelmingly fast where it'll be done in minutes. It's not... You can see the progress, but that's because you're able to look, and you're seeing it almost... In modern day terms, it's almost like you're looking at it with a microscope. You're so intently focused on it, you can see that progress. And it is incessant, but it isn't, you know, something that I would call quick.
Got it. She'll just lean in and watch and tilt her head and assess for how much longer Horatio would be a threat or a problem. That's all she's going to do for the time being. She's clocked the other two, but Laura's not an enemy right now.
Bertholt turns around and goes back the way he came just to see what happens.
Okay, that's fair. Berthold, you walk down that dark hallway. You, after an appropriate amount of time, you come back to that exit with the wall now behind you. You turn and come back down through the hallway a third time, and when you come through, you come out one of the other doors. But in your mind, you just went straight down this hallway.
Yeah. Went boop, boop, boop.
Yep.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo rules.
Yeah.
I'd like to head up and just kind of look around the pulpit area. I expect by getting up that far, I see the coffins.
Yes. You see the coffins. It's obvious to you at this distance now that they are the four of you that entered this area. And though ascending the dais is only 2 short steps to get up to it and to walk past the pulpit, as you do, you notice that you are 8 months pregnant.
Two things. One, Horatio, if you would be more comfortable, there is a coffin up here with your name on it. Two,
That would make it easier for Sebastian to find me, I suppose.
would it?
I mean, if it's labeled.
You know, that's true. That is impeccable logic, yes.
He's gonna head up there as best as he can, feeling his way.
Yep, it's
I'll
nope, not
help
that
you.
one. One more, yeah. Laura's just gonna like verbally be like, no, there's steps. Eventually, you got it. Two, something is going to happen very soon. I don't know what. I expect it will be extremely unpleasant for me, and I can only imagine for all of you. I would say it has been a pleasure, but this has been the most miserable, indeterminate amount of time in my life. May you all get what you deserve.
Amen to that, says Horatio, climbing into a coffin and laying down.
I think at the end of that, she'll smile at Desirim because she creepy, yes. Bad, no. She's never had a capital B bad vibe from Desirim, so
I'm certain Desirim can see your condition from here.
yeah. Yeah.
She will walk up to you, approach you, and take off her mother's shawl. It should go to another mother, please. Find comfort in this for whatever comes next.
Comfort in anything. I'll take it in this. Thank you.
She'll wrap it around you.
Certainly
Call us-
sounds like something weird is happening out there.
When
Kind
is
of
it
glad I
ever
can't
not
see it.
Horatio?
Oh, this is true. This is true.
Desiree, I think this considers us more than even, don't you? All bonds are released between us.
Oh. Oh, okay. Trade. Favor for a favor.
Indeed. Because if anything was done earlier, she wouldn't know about it, so. And she's gonna sit down in front of her coffin. In it seems a little too on the nose, even for Laura.
Nothing is not on the nose.
And she's just gonna sit and wait.
If it ends up mattering, breathe. It helps.
Thank you.
I haven't had to give that advice in a while.
As Berthold says breathe, can I notice that he isn't?
I think, Desiree, that yes, you notice that Berthold isn't breathing, and you also, granted, something's wrong with everybody at this point, but you had a sense of like the warmth coming from Laura, the warmth coming from Horatio, even as whatever's afflicting him. You don't get that warmth from Berthold.
The pseudo compassion, whatever passes for compassion that she had passed on to Laura, dissipates as she stares stony faced at Berthold. This wasn't part of the deal.
I think Berthold he's not very tall, sort of squats down, pats Laura on the shoulder, stands up, gives Horatio a nod. I think it's
He
quiet.
can't see you.
Horatio can't see it, but it's mostly for Berthold, really. And then, without turning around, says, "So, what now?"
Whatever comes next, I think Laura is the focus here. Horatio, are you doing all right in your coffin?
Expect I'll probably die soon.
Would you like us to quicken that? Would you like a state that matches where you are currently laying?
No, I'd like to give Sebastian as much time as possible to find me.
It's not much.
Well, every little bit counts.
That is fair.
Every time Horatio says something along those lines, Laura just opens her mouth to say something, but there's absolutely nothing that can be said to that. And she just closes it, and are there lids to these coffins, out of curiosity? we can
Yes.
see?
So
Okay.
it's very much the like stone bottom with the carved out center, and then like the carved lid where that's how you can like it's a carving of you on the lid.
Lovely, perfect.
Super bonkers environmental question. Are there any plants in here?
Weirder things have happened, so,
Right.
you know,
A nice patch of moss?
what's the undead raven situation?
Yeah, are they just in the rafters? Can we have them as pets?
There definitely aren't any undead ravens, but if you stay, you can certainly have them as pets, yes.
Yes.
Bonuses, winning.
Desiree, this isn't a deal with the Lord of the Manor.
Mm.
This is a deal with me, the GM.
Okay.
What is your goal with asking about plants? And what memory would you be willing to give up to get that?
Good question.
My
Good question.
goal is seeing a colossal room of stone and knowing what Berthold can do with such materials. She doesn't have much magic to her name, but whatever she does have, she would like to be able to use should it come to something, should she have to defend herself. She will give up the memory of the last time she truly saw her mother, the last time she can specifically clock seeing her mother. It was when they were in that ivory hall, bloodied, bruised, beaten, bitten. That last embrace before they were separated, and all the memories after that she can't really recall if they're true or her own.
Desiree, you find as you think of this memory and wonder if there are plants here because you know the damage Berthold could do with this amount of stone. They've already flaunted his ritual use so freely. And you see under your feet the wilted, withered vinage that has somehow seeped through a crack deep wherever this is. You lose that memory of your mother.
See you soon. She'll note that and wait for whatever happens next with Laura.
Hey, question.
Yes.
Bertholt is looking at Horatio and Laura at this point, because at this point I think he's already kind of clocked that Desiree will be a problem, and he's mostly just waiting for that to be a thing. Horatio is being covered in stone, turned to stone. What the fuck?
I mean, the best I can answer is yes. Horatio is being covered in stone, turned to stone.
Hard to tell. Yeah, okay. Hey, stone's inanimate material.
Don't you dare.
Well,
I mean, facts are facts.
Yeah.
it's true.
Berthold
like
is
whales or
going
fish.
to experiment, not on the eyes first, because if anything goes wrong badly, that's bad. But is going to try to shape the rock away from Horatio's skin.
Interesting.
Magic. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but he will try.
At this point, what's the worst that can happen?
Please, why would you
Kill
speak
me.
that into existence?
Well, there it is. The worst thing that will happen. Coming soon in a theater near you.
What is your goal in shaping the stone away from Horatio?
To undo whatever's happening.
Okay, so it's an act. It's actually an act of kindness.
Yeah, Berthold has no continuing contract with Vampire. That is ended. This is now back to Berthold being Berthold.
Okay. I'm going to offer you a bargain.
Hell yeah, let's go.
You can use the ritual and save Horatio from whatever this affliction is, but doing so voluntarily takes the ruin and gives yourself over to the power of this place.
Don't do it. He's not worth it. He's a horrible little man.
Because you are also so hungry, and you have teetered on this edge for so long, even though you are so close to your goal.
He's a terrible little man. He'll be fine.
Berthold goes to do that, feels the hunger, and realizes he is unsure if he takes another step whether he will stop. So he does not.
Okay.
And then I guess turns to Desiree and says, shall we do this now or later?
Oh. Let's see Laura through what she has to go through first. There will be time enough. An eternity.
Am I dead? When do I die?
We are having a 5-minute conversation, Horatio. Calm down.
He's just laying here. Turning the tone.
The only thing that I think Berthold will say to Desiree then while they turn and wait is one chance. Let me walk. I'll take your answer when we're done. And he turns to watch.
Watch Horatio die party.
I think Laura is confused about this secondary conversation, but probably hits that 9-month. I know there's like a specific amount of weeks, but like whatever. Mark, before she gets the chance. And then all thoughts of secondary conversations are gone.
Okay. I know all of you well enough to know that you are just as good as torturing yourselves as you are letting me do it. So, on the one hand, I know we all said that there wasn't as hard a time limit at 12:15, which is coming up in a half an hour here. But we can play this out the way we have been, or we can move into epilogues and people can describe to me what happens after this, if they survive, if they gained what they wanted after all.
I feel like I'm down for that with the caveat that I think Desiree and Berthold need to figure out what happens so that we can do that.
Fair enough.
I think that's very fitting for Laura, at least.
Like, I can torture Horatio all night. This is easy. It doesn't even bother him anymore. But, like, I don't really want to put Eva through Laura having birth, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Fair.
that's
good.
definitely
Totally
a
fair.
veil. Like, I don't think it's a line, but it's definitely a veil. We could, but I don't really want to. And then that really just leaves the two of you to sort out whatever's going to happen with.
Vampire fight.
So,
Yeah.
so,
So I think right before.
and also we've been such a narratively focused, even for Trophy Dark. We've gone 4 episodes and we focus so hard on the narrative. It would be a shame to disregard the narrative at the end, I think.
What are you
So-
trading for your one chance?
What am I trading?
I cannot give. I can trade, or I can try. What will you trade?
Can you deal in promises?
I can try to deal in promises. What is your promise?
My promise is that I will not undo what you have sought. Let me go.
She will invoke the power of the plants, the vines, and bind herself and try to let Berthold go. Run. Run and be safe.
Bertholt starts to walk past you, and then finding, I think, a random door, essentially, at this point, because he was going to just walk his way out until he finds that he has time now. I think we'll stop and turn around. If you are freed from a contract you've made with another by another, what happens?
The contract is gone and she's bound, but it wouldn't mean anything to him, but she will have rolled up her sleeve, showing something that is evidence enough to her, proof enough to her. I can see what he has done to you. It freed me from what bound me. May it free whatever bound you. But I am breaking that contract right now by letting you go, so please.
Hawthorne!
You don't get a reply.
Okay. Then Bertholt will just say it and then simply say, "You've made contracts with others. You know what I came here for. This solves the problem of my need just as well. I will take both. One for myself, and one as a gift for another." If you have a problem with it, open your fucking mouth.
Please clarify for me, the GM, what you mean by that.
So, Bertholt's thing, if you have not guessed by now, is he's here to give himself and his partner more time. His partner is dying. Taking Deserim's vampirism along with him as a gift and gifting the both of them together solves the problem and maintains the same state of people having been contracted.
Okay.
And to tip my hand a little bit, my third ritual is Unravel. Pull the threads of a ritual to uncast it and recast it somewhere else.
You clever clogs.
I mean, how can I say no to that? It's so juicy. I think you get that silence as your answer.
Okay. Bertholt will cast Unravel to take Desrim's contract and cast it later on. He can't just remove something, it has to be done later. But Bertholt will take it, look at you, and go, I walk to the exit. Over time, if I can find it. You walk wherever. And he turns around and leaves.
Well, that's certainly a last-minute shake-up, isn't it?
Hey, does this count as a ritual? Anyway.
You sneaky.
Horatio never did use his ritual.
Buddy.
And if possible, in the very last moment before he perishes, I would like him to just say, fuck this. And he's going to pull out of his pocket, his breast pocket,
Oh my god, I know which one you took. Fuck.
The pipe that Sebastian carved for him. He taught him how to carve. And without having any matches in sight, it will light on fire spontaneously in his hands. And the object that I would like to turn to dust would be the centralmost beam that holds up this godforsaken house.
Damn. Wow. Okay.
If we're to turn to stone, Hawthorne doesn't get to have a nice house. He had said that he would help him find his boyfriend and then didn't do that. So now his house gets to fall down.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Oh no.
Good, we're all in it. Yay.
You guys might
Yeah.
be gone by now. We don't know how long it took Horatio to die. It was slow,
It was
according to
slow.
Cass.
He probably can't hear if we're there or not.
Yeah, absolutely not. He can't hear anymore.
Oh no.
You guys out there? Hope
I don't
not.
care anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck
Boys,
this.
if you're still there.
If you can hear me, run.
The blood
Okay.
Lysander all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Hey, so there's a good question. For epilogues, are we alive?
Yeah.
You get to decide that.
I'm going
So
down and
I
I'm
th-
taking you
I
all
think-
with me.
I think. So we know Berthold's leaving. We know Desrim's been freed from yet another contract. Laura's in a vague space at the moment, but Horatio has made a decision. Horatio, you cast this ritual and you destroy the most important piece holding this house, this location, this cave system, everything. You destroy it. You don't know what damage is done to the house above. You don't know what damage is done to the realm that you may be in as a whole, but you know, with the last bit of your hearing and the last sense of your feeling, the rocks tumbling down in this cathedral around you, and you feel a warm touch on your cheek. And you hear Sebastian's voice, but not what he says. and then you are buried, crushed, covered in stone in more than one way. I think the only impart I will make, if any of your epilogues involve the egress from the manor, that everything does start to fall apart around you on your way. Other than that, you may torture yourself with whatever happens for our amusement.
I think Laura should probably go at some point in here. Any of that conversation, I mean, I think you two determined it was after Laura's situation, right? Laura does not make it out. She feels a completeness in her journey. She did what she came to do. There was a bargain of sorts that she fulfilled, and unexpectedly, she feels good about how that resolved. Everything after it is uncertain to her. And while glossing over the elephant in the dress, I suppose, what is left is a perfectly healthy looking baby boy, a patch of almost white blonde hair, and not a lot left of Laura. Glossing over some of the other details, I think you could, if one were to look, see that in what's left of her, where her heart should have been, is just a smooth blue rock shot through with gold lacing. And I expect, due to the nature of the house, the child probably grows fairly rapidly in his own way, as well as it's been doing this whole time. I don't put it on anyone else to prioritize the safety of the child. I feel like if you were not inclined to, if you notice him at all, if you wanted to take him with you, fine. If not, I expect the house probably leaves him be in his own way, unbothered by the rocks. And the last thing Laura probably hears is the crashing of waves.
What happens to Deserum after this all resolves?
Deserim waits as instructed for Berthold to leave a number of minutes, hours, who knows. Looks to where what was once Laura is now lying. To the child. Reaches out a hand. Did she give you a name?
I think in his hand is the skin horse that has Demetrius Sebastian's name on it.
We'll name you after your uncle then, please. We must hurry. She'll grab and she'll run with this rapidly growing child, grateful that his legs lengthen and he can keep up some. They go through tunnels and weave, not knowing which way to go but forward. If it begins to crumble around, she will do her best to shield him, to throw up roots, vines, whatever she can to bolster these tunnels. It could be hours, it could be days, she does not know. She pushes forward, her white knuckle grip on this child, ensuring that, yes, she had completed her favor to Laura, but this is now a gift. She is finally free of any contracts that bound her to be a traitor only. She can now give a gift openly, freely, and with her whole heart, what is hers for the first time in what she now knows to be decades. Even as it breaks, as she realizes her mom has been gone for years and years and years, Assyrio had tricked her, had kept that hope alive so that she would stay alive. She runs and she screams and she cries and she knows that she has to be the hope and the way out for this child. If she can do anything in what is probably her last moments with all that she can give, she will get this child to safety. As blessed light finally is at the end of tunnels, they emerge as the mansion is crumbling down and she has just enough energy left, just enough willpower as all the memories of decades lost flood her, crack her at the seams, as she pushes Demetrius through that ugly carved front door to safety and points with her last bit of strength to the portal at the end of the garden. Go be what we could not. Go be safe, go be happy, go be whole, and live. And the house falls around her.
Told.
Berthold wanders for a time. It's when you can see in the dark but you don't know where you're going. No vision in the world matters. So he wanders the halls as long as it takes, which is not very long. Because soon enough, at a point of time he doesn't know, he can't count it in the dark. But there's a sound, the smell of smoke, the sound of crumbling rock. He hears a shout, screams, two voices running. And almost as an instinct, heads towards them. He's so very hungry now. Rocks will fall. The manor crumbles. There is a gap in the cave. It doesn't make any sense. This should be underground, but space has never been friends with this manor. A crack peeks out into the garden. Berthold can see a child running. And he knows that there's two choices. So he makes the one that he can. He follows the instinct. Steps out into the garden. Greets the sunlight. And burns.
Fuck yeah, I got them all. I hope that damn vampire, the other one, also his bedroom like cracked and he got burned up. Let's say that's what happened. I want that to be my second epilogue. Mr. Lavender Crispine over there, he was hanging out watching all of us suffer, and then all of a sudden his house started falling down and his curtains broke or whatever, and then he set on fire and he went just like that. The end.
Postscript.
Thank you for stopping me from crying.
This is how I cope with sadness.
There's no one left to witness it, but this wouldn't be Trophy Dark if I didn't. The child walks through the garden, running from the destroyed house. And as they reach the portal where the four companions, the treasure hunters, entered, for just a moment, there's a flash of an inky black halo around the child's head. Inky black tendrils waving off of their body. And then they step through the portal. And I think that's where we will end our story.
Hell yeah, we released Cthulhu.
Amazing.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll do some quick wrap up, and then I have just been told that there is an after credit scene from one of our players. So, in true after credits fashion, I've been your GM, Cassiopeia, pronouns she, they. You can find me on social media, I guess, if it's, it's kind of shitty all the way around out there right now. Or you can check out my itch.io page, Cassiopeia Twilight. This is the end of our story. Next week is the premiere of the Grand Labyrinth Heist at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And with that, I will throw it to my players to do their outros, and then we'll have that scene.
Hi, hello. I have been Laura, and I am Eva. You can find me sporadically over, usually on Twitter, at the Eva Serrate. I am in a weekly D&D game as a much happier, much more well-adjusted sea elf. Every Saturday on Sword and Key. That was emotional whiplash right there. And I'm not running anything at the moment, but very soon. I'm looking forward to it. I think that pretty much wraps it up for me.
Hello, I am John Andor Ryomasa. I have been playing Bertholt today. None of my shit is out yet, so you can't see any of it. But if you want news, follow me on RY0MASA on the fucking Bluebird Hell site. And then if you also like Pathfinder content stuff, we have a book, Howl of the Wild, coming out from Paizo. Is one of the things I was very lucky to be on a team of very cool and creative people on. So check that out if you want some cool beastie stuff. Yeah, shit. Goddamn. This fucking game. Okay, pass. Jesus.
Hi, my name's Tori. You can find me all over the internet as that nerd Tori on all of the sites. I have secured the username on every single one of them. They're all terrible though. And I don't currently have any projects that I can announce coming up, but like keep your eyes on my social medias for other things I'll be doing soon.
And I'm Rosie, Sweet Rosie B, just about everywhere. I have not secured it on every site. On Tumblr, I'm the Sweet Rosie B. I also don't have anything I can talk about right now. If you are interested in commissioning your TTRPG character portraits, go to sweetrosieb.com. I have plenty of commission slots open for sketches, grayscale, and full color rendered portraits. This has been an absolute horrific delight, and I'm gonna go cry after this.
Right. Let's have that scene.
It's 2 days, long before any of our adventurers or treasure hunters met. Bertholt has already set out. Bertholt Maradi, blacksmith, former soldier, once a father, still a husband. He's gone, you see, to extend time. When asked, all he'll say is time, because he knows how hard it is to gauge secrets. Time for himself. Time for themselves. Time for their love. On the desk, written in a clinical hand, is a time. A time set 48 hours after Bertholt Maradi has left. Talia Maradi, time of death.
We hope you have enjoyed this story with us. Not much more, I think, that I can really say after that. We hope you all have a lovely night. Sleep well.